It was a cold autumn night, and the girl was sat in bed, chatting with her friends on the laptop balanced on her knees. Just as she opened her emails to check through her new mail, she heard droplets of rain begin to thud on the skylight outside her room. The skylight was made of thick glass, and as such, the drops made heavy, loud noises, almost like footsteps, walking around on the roof above. It was a slow drizzle, and the rain made regular noises. She sighed and settled back against her pillow. She loved it when it rained. Eventually, she fell asleep. The next morning, she woke up and stretched. She froze suddenly at the sight of her open door, before realizing her mother must have come in, as she did every night, to check she was asleep, and left the door open. Passing it off as nothing, she kicked off the blanket and began to dress for the day. That night, she lay back on her bed once again and started up her laptop. She checked the weather forecast, drizzly with common showers, and then booted up Skype. As she waited for it to log her in, she heard the first droplets of a second shower begin to fall. They sounded louder than before. The rain was getting steadily worse as it neared winter. The pounding of the rain almost gave her a headache, and she was forced to turn off her laptop, since the bright light from the screen was sending stabbing pain through her head. When she woke up, she dressed and went downstairs. Her mother looked angry.
"Turn down that music,"
she said sternly.
"The drums are keeping me up all night."
The girl denied listening to any music, but her mother was adamant.
"Well, tell me what the pounding was,"
she replied, annoyed. She said that she didn't know, and ate breakfast, casting the incident from her mind, in favour of thoughts of the gossip she would share with her friends. On the third night, she was curled up in her chair, reading a book. Her back was to the door. Downstairs, she heard her mother talking on the phone. She wished she would stop. Why did she have to talk so loudly? Was it really so difficult to... Just as she began to get really annoyed, her mother abruptly stopped talking. Sighing in relief, she went back to her book. Next, she heard a raised voice from downstairs. Her irritating brother was no doubt playing video games again. Was it really necessary to yell into the headset? When he quietened down, she heard the sounds of thudding rain on the skylight. It seemed to be getting louder. Perhaps they would have a storm, and the weather would clear. The door to her bedroom opened. The girl smiled into her book and greeted the person, undoubtedly her mother. Not hearing a response, she began to turn to the person, asking what was wrong, but she never finished her sentence. The last thing she felt was the cold steel against her neck, and the last thing she saw were cold, blue eyes. A boy sat at his desk. Outside, the rain began to thud on the conservatory, or at least he assumed it was outside. His headphones messed up his hearing. Then he heard raised voices from downstairs.